Hi, Gemini. Welcome to your March 2018 Astro Update. It's Rena here. And full disclosure, I have redone your video because I omitted the blue moon at the end of the month. I was so focused on that first full moon that I didn't remember to include the last one. And so I will get to that a bit later. But a lot of the activity in the month of March for you is situated in the 10th and 11th houses. Now, your 10th house is the house of career, and it can also involve your father, if that is applicable for your life. The 11th house is the house of hopes and wishes. It's considered the luckiest house, and it's the house of the collective. So whether it's your group of friends, it's considered, the humanity as a whole, but this can also be your social network or just like networking for your business even, So because both of these houses are engaged in a big way, this may be something that some of you are doing because that's involved with what your work is. That's what your work entails. So the month begins with a full moon at 11 degrees of Virgo, and this falls into your fourth house of home and family. It's also the house of the mother, so I mentioned that the 10th is the father, the opposite house. And so because of this, there may be something that you find out about your mother, and this can come from some sort of event that occurs. Full moons can bring things to light, okay? Sometimes this comes in the form of secrets. Just in other cases, it's just awareness of something that is going on. The full moon can bring endings or a culmination. So if you are involved in any kind of selling of a house, that may be the time when you do get to sell it. And maybe you're going to be moving. That's always a possibility as well. And so the other thing that I wanted to state about this that I think is very important is that the fourth house is your past, okay? So this is your childhood, I would say especially. And yeah, when I said past, I really meant your growing up years. And so you may have some kind of revelation about something in your life, and it may be something that was holding you back, and it's connected to an event that happened when you were a child, and you are able to process that memory in a more constructive way because you gain new insights. And the reason I think this is really important, Gemini, is because Gemini is a mental sign. The full moon is a time of emotion. And Gemini people, as a sign, not talking about individuals though, as a sign, being an air sign, there is that tendency to intellectualize emotions, not really necessarily feel them in the heart chakra. So, and what's interesting? I don't know if this is connected to anything. Yeah, you know what? I bet it is in some way, actually, because I was going to say with numerology, there is a connection between these houses and numerology. So, in other words, the fourth house is connected to structure. In numerology, the number 4 relates to structure and, foundations. You think of like a square, and it has 4 sides. And so that makes sense that the home and the family that we assume are the backbone of our life, is going to be connected to the number 4. Well, likewise, I was thinking about the 4th chakra, which is the heart chakra. And I was thinking, wow, well, that doesn't really, I don't think that would make sense. But, that's an emotional, that's your emotions, at least your love, and that connects to home and family as well. So I don't know. That's an interesting thing I just thought up. But anyway, so that could bring up emotion related to your past, especially your earlier years. But it could also be a cleansing effect. The full moon can be a time of detox. So maybe some memory that has kind of haunted you, you may like be able to see it in a new light and let it go. On the 6th, we have Mercury and Venus going into your 11th house from that 10th house of career. So starting in February, going into March 6th, you have Mercury and Venus in the 10th house. And this is great for you to be able to communicate with people in a pleasing manner, especially those who are above you, who have, I don't like to say who have power over you, but who are in charge if you don't work for yourself. But also just in terms of anything connected to career, even if you are dealing with the public, it can be very helpful. Venus adds charm. Venus can somehow bring money with her to the 10th house. You can profit from something, especially related to your ability to talk. Now, you're ruled by Mercury, so you can sell ice. I was gonna say ice cream. It's supposed to be ice cube. No, it is ice cream, not ice cubes. Who would want to sell ice cubes? Ice creams to the Inuit, not Eskimos. I think that's politically incorrect now. But you can do it, whatever that is, okay? And for all I know, they might eat ice cream, because what else can they eat, besides blubber? But I don't know. That's just silly. So anyway, you're doing that, and then when these two personal planets go into your 11th house, then your mind is about your long-held dreams. And Venus in this house can actually bring money to make your dreams come true. So let's say your dream is to relocate to a different country, but you don't have the funds to do so. That could be, something appears, magically. I believe in magic. And I don't mean in a very mysterious sort of way. I just mean that I believe sometimes that the universe blesses us. And if you want to call it magic, call it that. But I think about the Ace of Pentacles in the Tarot. They show the gold coin coming from the clouds, So never worry about how these things happen. It's like we're supposed to, and this is what I would say Mercury in the 11th house is, decide what you want, think of the things that you want, visualize them, and then allow the universe to do the heavy lifting. Venus in the 11th house can also mean that you're talking, and Mercury, talking to someone that becomes a romantic interest, and you might meet them through friends. On the 17th, we have Mars going from your relationship sector of the 7th house in Sagittarius into the 8th house in Capricorn. Now, there is a possibility that at this time when Mars goes into the 8th house, that there's some kind of probate issue that heats up, that creates conflict. And back to that full moon at the beginning of the month, that could be a time when you find out something about property that has to do with your family of origin or your mother. Some kind of a thing happens that you end up where it's like money that is not yours that you have to fight for some reason, or that there is conflict about, okay? And it could simply be that if you're like being named a trustee over your mother's estate, that you are just very involved with that, because the Mars can just be a lot of activity in that particular sector. But there could be conflict for some people around shared resources. So just to let you know about that, the 8th house is also sex, and Mars is a sex drive, so you can do the math. And what else? Well, I just wanted to say that before it goes into that 8th house, it's in the 7th house for half of the month. And in the 7th house, Mars there could mean that if you are dealing with divorce issues, because the 7th house can be like lawsuits and stuff like that, or, legal matters. It's also the marriage house, but with Mars there could be some kind of like conflict. Okay, so I'm putting the two. I'm putting marriage and law issues together, and I'm coming up with divorce court. And if that's the case, you could be dealing with fighting over shared resources, with the type of thing that happens when you get married and one person owns a business and the other person says, well, I worked at that business. I made it what it was, even though I didn't start it and they had it before we were married. I feel like I deserve some of that money or half of that money, whatever. So you might be doing something along those lines. And I don't mean to suggest that every Gemini person is having marital issues, but you did have Saturn here before and it has left this house, but some of you, your marriage may have gone by the wayside, especially during that transit of Saturn in the 7th house. And now it's like you're dealing with the aftermath, and that may involve divorce matters. Okay. And then on that same day, on the 17th, we have a new moon at 26 Pisces, again, the 10th house. So very good for career issues in March for Gemini. New beginning, new direction, new seeds planted, new ideas of what you want to do. On the 31st, Venus goes into Taurus, and that is your 12th house. So you may meet somebody through friends, and you decide that you're not going to tell your friends that you guys are dating. And there may be extenuating circumstances why that would be. Now, I do have to go here and say that sometimes with 12th house transit of Venus, there could be some kind of clandestine situation happening where one party or both parties are married and they're kind of sneaking around. But I always say now, because I'm afraid of someone writing to me and saying, don't make light of cheating, or that's not okay to cheat, that I'm not making light of it. I'm just telling it like it is. I mean, things happen. I'm not here to preach. I have my own views on infidelity, but it really isn't a time and place for that. I just want to get through these transits and let you know that. Now, the other thing, too, is it doesn't have to be that. It can just be that, for some reason, you are not interested in broadcasting your relationship. Maybe you are newly divorced, or if you are going through a divorce, you may not want other people to know that you're dating because you feel that it could reflect poorly on the situation. It may work against you. I mean, that could be something like that. And that, somehow they will find out about it and assume that you were having an affair during the whole thing, or that you didn't take the marriage seriously. So it could be something along those lines. But the other thing, too, is that this could be a karmic love relationship. And sometimes I think to myself, which ones aren't karmic? But having said that, you may meet somebody at the end of March going into April, and you scratch your head and say, wow, this person, it's like I've known him forever. I just, met the person, and I feel like, okay, this is the person for me. And with Gemini, a lot of times you are a very you're a person who likes variety in everything, including relationships. So it's very easy for a Gemini person I could see a Gemini person having an easy time dating multiple people simply because you enjoy different people's company and you don't necessarily, find all the traits in one person because you're very versatile. But once in a while, there may be a person that comes along that has it all for you. And this may be one of those times. And it is because it is your soulmate. This is like the soulmate house, okay? So you very likely will recognize if this person is kind of that sort of person for you. And on the same day, we have a blue moon, which is perfect because that saying, once in a blue moon, oh, I didn't realize this. So this might be actually exactly where I'm going with this. This may be a soulmate situation because not only do we have a blue moon, which of course is the second full moon in a month, at 10 degrees of Libra, a fellow air sign, and this is falling in your 5th house of romance, but it's happening on the same day that Venus goes into your 12th house. So definitely we could be talking about love. Maybe it's like love at first sight. And I think love at first sight happens because you recognize that this is your soulmate. And it's not because you just think the person's attractive. It's because you recognize that this is the person you're meant to be with. So that would be a very nice ending to the month of March, wouldn't it? For you who are looking for love, of course, Gemini. And so I hope you enjoyed this. And if you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have a wonderful March. Bye.